Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Evie and I'm going to be doing a new series on Apothecaria, which is a solo journaling RPG, and I'm super excited about it. I started playing Apothecaria when I learned about solo journaling RPGs. It's the first one that I've played, and yeah, I've just been really into it. I've been hyper fixated on RPGs, specifically TTRPGs. I've been playing a lot of Dungeons and Dragons and Daggerheart, and I kind of just don't have enough. So I added more. It's like you want to play more, but you don't want to commit yourself to a time slot. Basically, more social interaction. I'm kind of introverted and I have a limited amount of social spoons, and I decided to do a solo journaling RPG. If you decide to play Apothecaria, I would definitely recommend that you watch a video. It took me about 3 hours of setup my first go around because I was really confused, and I found out later by reading the author's commentary that the author left it ambiguous so that people could play the way that they wanted to play. I personally found that to be confusing. By looking at other people, figuring out how they played, it helped me out a lot, so I would definitely suggest that you do that. I think that you could get started a lot faster if you knew what you were doing going in. So I've recorded this probably, I don't know, like 15 times. I keep pressing the mute button on my microphone because I'm a noob at recording. If I sound like a robot or I sound spicy, that's why. Anyway, I decided to build this journal in Canva because I think that it would take less time and be less messy than doing an IRL journal. I've been doing an IRL journal for my other character in a Delve-bound campaign that I'm running, which is a Elder Scrolls TTRPG based off of D&D 5th ed. That character journal has been a little devastating to me. I decided to do an A5 journal inspired by Ginny D's campaign journal that she did, and I put tons and tons of time into it. Unfortunately, I have run out of room. If you like to do prolific journaling or you're doing scrapbooking, it just takes up a lot of space in your journal, and I can't find a journal that is bigger than the one that I have. So it's been just full of headaches, and unfortunately I just didn't want to put myself through that again. And because I'm neurodivergent, I make a lot of mistakes when I'm writing and I'm kind of messy, so I wanted something that I could rework the pages and make edits. So I think that a digital journal would give me space to add pages and also be able to edit mistakes out. Also, like, filming's easier. I don't have a lot of camera equipment. I probably have more than a normal person, but I definitely don't have like a top-down camera setup. I have a rinky-dink cell phone stand that won't hold anything, and I'm always afraid my phone is gonna fall out of it. So until I get some more equipment, until I know this is something I'm gonna stick with and whatever, then I'm just gonna do screen capture. I got this idea from Art Loves Paper. She's the first person I've seen do a Canva journal for a TTRPG. I was super inspired when she had a video on her character journal, and it's gorgeous. It's definitely prettier than mine, so go check her out if you are interested in this sort of thing. As far as theme is concerned, I chose the vintage journal style because I really love the way that old vintage journals look. Basically, I found a book on Amazon that had that sort of vibe. It was green canvas or linen. It had these really pretty embossed natural features on it, and the lettering was done in a really pretty Art Nouveau style, and I feel like Art Nouveau really invokes those organic lines, so it pairs really well with that vintage feel. I chose natural colors like foliage, florals, natural paper. I wanted a lot of texture in this. That's the kind of vibe that I'm going for. So this cover page I was able to make look 3D basically by using lights and shadows. So I used shapes and gradients to make that effect. And then I also did the same thing by creating 3 different copies of the font. I did the highlight, I did the shadow, and then I did the color that I wanted the font. It took me kind of a while to figure out what florals I wanted to use, mostly because the font is so bold that anything that wasn't bold just didn't kind of like look right. And I think it looks really nice. It looks really polished. I will say that if you know how to turn off Canvas Snap on Canva, please let me know, because that was driving me nuts. I actually cut a lot out of this video because this took me so long, y'all. This footage is like 1800% sped up because I was just messing with this for so long. So I was able to move things around a little bit easier when I zoomed in. For the title page, I used a textured floral pressed paper. I really liked the pressed flowers as well because I think that my character would probably pick flowers and stuff to put in her journal as she's gathering supplies for her treatments. I did put a frame on the page as well. I chose a script font because I really like the way that it mimics how my handwriting looks when I use a dip pen, which I do use for my IRL journal. And then I used a handwriting font for the actual journal entries because I think the print is a little bit easier to read. In my IRL journal, I often write in cursive and sometimes it can be hard for me to read. I mean, I don't have the cleanest handwriting. Fonts, generally speaking, are easier to read because of the consistency in the letters and stuff like that. I am currently working on a piece of art for this frame. Y'all, this artwork's definitely shaping up to be like a 12-hour project. I don't know about y'all, but I didn't grow up doing digital art. I kind of avoided it actually for favor of traditional media. But I just don't have like the workspace to be painting and pulling out my acrylics all the time. So I've been drawing a lot on the iPad and learning digital art and painting. So hey, if you're an artist and I have that video out, please go tell me what the heck I'm doing wrong, because it's just taking me freaking forever. And I had to quit today. I'm gonna have to work on it tomorrow because the hands took me the out. I never wanted to like fight one of my pictures before, but today my lady just had a lobster claw for like half of the portrait. Bruh. What are those? It's driving me nuts. So my character is Illyri Trethaway, and I'm really excited for you guys to meet her. Once I get the art video up and running, that's kind of where you'll meet her, and I kind of want to do an introduction to this series through her speed painting. For the journal pages, I kind of use the same paper. I did the lines in a really stupid way. I decided to use like notebook paper, and then I went back and put lines over the notebook paper to try to mimic the spacing of notebook paper. And it was a waste of time because then when I cleaned things up, it moved everything anyway. But I did sink a lot of time into that for no reason. Don't do that. And I also forgot that duplicate page works, that it was a thing. So for the first couple of journal pages, I basically copy and paste everything, and that took a while. So I do get into the flow later on, and I remember that duplicate page is a thing. In the future, for my journal pages, I want to leave a little bit more room for illustrations for plants or maybe for NPCs. If you're doing this, you could use artwork that is from the Creative Commons collection. You can usually find those in like museums and stuff, and they have a lot of those natural illustrations from like textbooks and stuff that kind of fit the vibe for the apothecary type feel. So I will probably be implementing some of that in my journals. As far as the future of the series go, I'm like super excited about the series. When I first started playing, I was like, oh man, I really want to share this with people. I already did my session 1, which is why I am able to fill out a journal entry for my first week. I actually haven't finished that week. I need to forge some more or go into town and stuff, so I might film that and do like a session 1.5. I'm hoping to add a camera to do dice rolls and stuff like that, and then maybe possibly in the future I might put my face on YouTube, but we'll see. Here I'm just putting the properties of all the plants that I wanted to forage. I put the star rating, I put how to prepare the herbs. I had a bigger list than that when I initially start because I like wrote down literally every herb that would cure those disease tags, but I think I'm going to streamline it going forth just to figure out what herb I want to go and where it is. That way it's a little bit faster and I'm not having to sort through the whole entire herb list to find all of the herbs and then make a decision. Plus it takes up less room in my journal. So I want to show my process of playing. Like I said earlier, the author left a lot of space in this game to give people the option to play how they wanted and how they were inspired to. personally, I felt like it was a little too much room. I was given a little too much freedom. So a way that I kind of helped myself was I used different tools to basically act as oracles for me. So I have the Solo Adventures toolbox, which I got off of DM's Guild, and it has a ton of roll tables in it. And basically I want to use that to generate descriptions of things, descriptions of locations, of people, of NPCs that I meet, that sort of thing, because it doesn't give you a lot of that. Like, you're really left to your own imagination. And when I first played, I kind of forgot to add those details. It wasn't until I was writing the journal back where I was like, oh man, like I really could have put more detail in here and drawn more of a picture. So don't be afraid to add details to, you know, make your character, because that's not in the book. Like, I went and I rolled information about my character, and I came up with backstory for her, and I came up with her description, what she looks like and how old she is. And that'll be some of the stuff that you'll see in that art video. But I also did things like create a cottage and talk about NPCs and generate a story about a constellation. I just did a lot of that through random generators, through using my Oracle roll tables. And then I'm also considering using tarot. I've seen a lot of people in the solo RPG space use tarot as a way to generate ideas. And I'm gonna be honest, I have a tarot deck, but I'm not very well versed in it. But I think it would be interesting, especially pulling from the solo RPG game called Carico. They had a really interesting mechanic in the game where they use the major arcana to assign different NPCs to the arcana. So I'm thinking about breaking my tarot cards by major and minor, and then using the major arcana for NPCs in my campaign. That way I'm not just pulling random ailments and then generating NPCs and then never having any other interaction with them. I don't imagine that there are a ton of NPCs in this town. Maybe it's a bigger town, but I'm not sure. But I just thought it would add a little bit of depth and fun if I am seeing some of these people that I'm generating again. I just think it would be really interesting to build on the relationship between my character and them. I might do some of that. And Carico's a little bit different. They have a little bit of different mechanics, but I just thought that was really interesting. I haven't played Carico. I do plan on trying it at some point, but I'm looking forward to that. So this is the part of the journal where I met a dragon, and the dragon told me about a constellation, and I will be reading my first journal entry in another video and talking about that first session. But I really enjoyed this. I used an online generator to come up with the idea for the constellation, and I kind of just took some inspiration because I didn't really like the whole thing. And I created Tifia, and Tifia is a giant crab that protects the humans, and as a reward, because she was severely injured, she was put into the stars and she watches over humans. And I just thought that was really cute, and I want to be able to use some of these elements for future campaigns or world building. So as far as my series goes, I'm really interested in doing more solo RPG content. I meant to start a solo RPG campaign for one of my other characters, and I just never got around to it because I felt like a lot of the solo RPGs using D&D 5th Ed is a little intimidating, and I feel like these are different altogether. It's kind of like a choose your own adventure, and the startup, I mean, yeah, like going into it, I spent way too much time trying to figure it out, but it felt less intimidating than trying to do 5th Ed, which is just, you know, literally an entire book just of rules. I'd love to show more content on my page about my art and my journaling and my characters and doing world building and all of that stuff. I've been really super interested in TTRPGs. It's been my hyper fixation for a couple of months now, and I have really gotten a lot of enjoyment out of using the creative part of my brain. I think for a while I was kind of facing burnout, and I lost touch with that creative part of my brain. I mean, I do like websites and stuff, but I felt that largely I haven't been doing arts and crafts and journaling and stuff like that. And so I'm really excited to be back into this and doing this. So yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to showing you guys some of that. I'm looking forward to the campaign. I just want to thank you for watching this. This is my first or second video, so things can only improve from here. Go ahead and give me a like, a subscribe if you want to help me out. I have like 6 subscribers, so it would really help. And if you'd like, you could leave a little emoji comment down below. That would help me out as well. Thank you so much. Bye.